Have you ever felt like your paycheck just isn't stretching as far as it used to? Prices seem to be constantly rising, but your earnings stay the same. Whether it's the cost of groceries, gas, or even the rent, inflation is slowly eating away at your hard-earned money. It's a financial challenge that affects everyone, yet many don't fully understand what inflation is, how it works, and what you can do to protect yourself from it. Well, today, I'm here to help you understand inflation, why it's happening, and most importantly, what you can do to beat it. Inflation is a term that we hear almost daily, whether it's in the news, in a conversation, or when you're looking at the price of goods at your local store. But how many of us truly understand the impact inflation has on our finances, and more importantly, how we can protect ourselves from its effects? In this video, we're going to break it all down. What is inflation? Why is it happening? How does it affect your daily life, savings, and long-term financial goals? And most importantly, how can you protect your money from inflation's eroding effects? But before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Together, we can grow this community and learn how to navigate financial challenges, including inflation, so we can all build a more secure future. What is inflation? Let's start with the basics. What exactly is inflation? In simple terms, inflation is the general increase in the prices of goods and services over time, which leads to a decrease in the purchasing power of your money. So for example, if you were able to fill up your car for $30 a few years ago, but now that same amount of gas costs you $40, that's inflation at work. It's the reason why everything from food, healthcare, transportation, and even rent seems to cost more over time. Over the long run, inflation can slowly reduce the value of your money. The $100 you had in your pocket a few years ago may not go as far as it does today. And while inflation can sometimes be a good thing for the economy, in most cases, it's something we need to be aware of so we can take steps to protect our financial future. Why does inflation happen? Now that we know what inflation is, the next question is, why does it happen? There are several reasons inflation occurs, and it's important to understand these causes so we can better respond to them. Demand pull inflation. This is one of the most common reasons for inflation. It happens when demand for goods and services exceeds the supply available in the market. When more people want to buy goods, businesses respond by raising prices. Think about when the economy starts to heat up, people are spending more, and businesses can't keep up with the demand. As a result, prices rise. Push inflation. This happens when the cost of production increases. This could be due to higher raw material prices, labor costs, or transportation costs. When it becomes more expensive to produce goods, companies pass those costs on to consumers in the form of higher prices. For example, if the cost of oil rises, gas prices go up, which affects the cost of many other products that require transportation. Monetary policy and printing. Money central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the US, play a crucial role in inflation. When they increase the money supply by printing more money or lowering interest rates, it can lead to inflation. More money in circulation means there's more demand for goods, which again drives prices up. While this is done to stimulate the economy, it can also cause the value of the dollar to decrease, resulting in inflation. Expectations of future inflation. Finally, there's the psychological factor. If consumers and businesses expect prices to rise in the future, they're more likely to start spending more now, which increases demand and leads to inflation. If everyone anticipates higher prices, their actions may create a self-fulfilling prophecy. How inflation affects your finances. Now that we understand what inflation is and why it happens, let's talk about how it affects you. Inflation impacts your finances in several ways. Higher living costs. As prices rise, the cost of living increases. Gas, food, and utilities all become more expensive, and that's money you have to account for in your monthly budget. This can be especially difficult if your income stays the same, leaving you with less disposable income for savings or discretionary spending. Savings lose value. Many people assume that as long as their money is sitting in a savings account, it's safe. But here's the problem. If the interest rate on your savings is lower than inflation, you're actually losing money in real terms. For example, If your savings account earns 1% interest per year, but inflation is 3%, you're effectively losing 2% of the value of your savings every year. Impact on investments. Inflation can also affect your investments. For instance, if you're invested in fixed income securities like bonds, their value can decrease over time as inflation rises. This is because inflation erodes the purchasing power of the fixed payments you receive. Stocks and real estate, however, may perform better during inflationary periods as they often have the potential to grow at a faster rate than inflation. Retirement planning. One of the most significant long-term impacts of inflation is on retirement savings. If you're planning to retire in 20 or 30 years, you need to consider how inflation will affect your purchasing power when you finally stop working. What costs you $50,000 today could cost you $75,000 or more in the future due to inflation. Without proper planning, inflation can seriously impact your ability to maintain the lifestyle you want in retirement. How to protect yourself from inflation. Now you're probably wondering, how can I protect myself from this rising tide of inflation? The good news is, there are several strategies you can use to safeguard your wealth. Invest in inflation-protected assets. One of the best ways to protect your money from inflation is to invest in assets that can grow faster than inflation. Stocks, real estate, and commodities like gold have historically outpaced inflation over time. They can serve as a hedge against rising prices. Stocks. The stock market tends to grow over time, and investing in well-established companies or sectors can help protect you from inflation. Real estate. Property values tend to rise with inflation. In fact, owning property can provide a dual benefit of price appreciation and rental income. Commodities. Gold and other precious metals often do well during inflationary periods because they are seen as a store of value. Inflation-protected bonds. If you're looking for something more secure, consider investing in Treasury inflation-protected securities, TIPS. These are bonds issued by the U.S. government that adjust with inflation, ensuring that you're getting returns that keep pace with rising prices. Diversification. A diversified portfolio is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. By spreading your investments across different asset classes, you reduce the risk of losing value to inflation. Having a mix of stocks, bonds, real estate, and commodities can provide stability. Increase your income. While reducing spending is a good way to stretch your budget, it's also important to focus on increasing your income. Look for ways to enhance your career, start a side hustle, or explore passive income opportunities. The more you can earn, the better positioned you'll be to withstand rising costs. Control your spending. During times of inflation, it's important to be mindful of your spending. Cut back on unnecessary purchases, avoid impulse buying, and track your expenses. If inflation is eating into your budget, being more disciplined about your spending can help you maintain financial stability. In conclusion, inflation is something that affects all of us, but understanding how it works and taking proactive steps to protect your wealth can make a huge difference. By diversifying your investments, reducing unnecessary spending, and being strategic about your financial decisions, you can protect yourself from the rising costs of living and secure a better financial future. Remember, inflation is inevitable, but with the right tools and knowledge, you can fight back. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Stay financially educated, and I'll see you in the next video.